Just a typical day in the life of 98-year-old Harold Laufman. Playing the violin.
And here is your drink.
Oh, thank you.
Hosting his daughter and grandson who are visiting from out of town. Learning how to use the latest e-reader.
Oh, I see.
Throwing a joint birthday party with his 31-year-old neighbor.
We're twins.
Yes, we're twins.
Writing his latest book, To Thrive Past 95. And squeezing in a phone call from the girlfriend he calls
Feisty.
What is it that makes this retired surgeon tick?
I wake up every morning with an agenda for the day. I know what I'd like to do to that day, and I don't always accomplish it, but I have a pursuit for that day.
His daughter Donnie is convinced her father's high level of engagement keeps him young at heart.
He has a great passion for life. He has a passion for many different kinds of things. And he happens to be wonderful at all the things he has a passion for. So I think that's very helpful.
Okay, that'll get you to the home.
Harold explains what interests him today.
Everything.
As a child in Michigan, a bacterial disease called diphtheria paralyzed Harold's legs. Even though he took swimming as therapy, he still had a limp.
And he worked really hard so he wouldn't have a limp, and he became captain of the water polo team at the University of Chicago.
By then, Harold was already the state violin champion. He supported himself through college with another skill, his artwork, at one point selling pencil sketches for $5 at the World's Fair. Then it was on to medical school, a doctorate in surgery, marriage, and a baby. When Donnie was a newborn, Harold left for North Africa to serve as a combat surgeon in World War II. But as driven as he was professionally, Harold's commitment to family was always an anchor.
That was us.
That was us. You had just come home.
He recalls returning from the war 3 years later and seeing Donnie as a toddler for the first time.
And they sent 3-year-old Donnie down in the elevator alone to meet her new father, whom she had never seen. And she said, "Hello, Daddy, what's your name?" And choking up a bit, I said, "Just call me Daddy."
5 years later, Harold would be a father of 2 daughters. In 1965, he moved to New York to head up the Institute for Surgical Studies at Montefiore Hospital and Medical Center and to teach surgery at Albert Einstein College of Medicine. Years later, he returns to Einstein, not as a physician, but as a volunteer in the Longevity Genes Project led by researcher Nir Barzilai. Nir and his team have recruited more than 500 healthy elderly, ages 95 to 112, and their children, in the search for longevity genes. Harold and Nir have an ongoing debate about the connection between Harold's talents and his longevity.
The discussion I had with him is always, is this why he lived long? Or are the longevity genes also are genes that allowed you to be engaged and be able to do so many things, and that's why it drove you to longevity?
That question remains to be answered, but Nir has found one piece of Harold's longevity puzzle.
Harold's good cholesterol, this is the HDL cholesterol, is elevated, and also he has one of those cholesterol longevity genes.
Nir is referring to a gene variant he and his team discovered in many of the study participants.
The CTP.
This form of the CETP gene protects against cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's, and type 2 diabetes. The goal of the research is to develop drug therapies that mimic the activity of these genes to enable those who were not born with longevity genes to also live longer and healthier lives. Harold says love has a lot to do with being healthy and happy.
I think love is a very important part of life for everybody, anybody. And people who would deny that, and would, for whatever reason, it seems to me that they're missing an important part of life.
Harold surrounds himself with friends and relatives. And Nir Barzilai hopes his research will one day provide more people with additional healthy years to do whatever it is that makes them happy. Shortly after this interview was conducted, Dr. Harold Laufman died peacefully in his home. We are grateful to his family for allowing us to share his compelling life story. His legacy and zest for life are an inspiration to all.